Hard to believe it's been 20 years. I still remember the excitement of seeing this team put together after '88 and the Collegians with the bronze medal, the collection of all those great Hall of Famers and what they did in the Tournament of Americas, and then the dominant performances at the Olympics in Barcelona.
Yeah, the great documentary obviously we saw during during the finals was another reminder, not only that it's been 20 years, but just how great that collection of superstars was. I saw Chris Mullin on the floor last night when I'm leaving the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas. You look at him and you think back to what they did. It's just hard to fathom any team ever being as dominant as they have been, and they were in that competition.
Yeah, and now we have the question this week. Someone asked Kobe Bryant, and you were there in Vegas, okay, could you beat the Dream Team? And he says the 2012 team, yeah, we could beat those guys. That was regardless of what you think, that team was very special, and the likes of which we'll never see again.
No, and LeBron James had a great comment about it afterwards, because somebody asked him about it, of course, in the Big Zone, and LeBron gave us that look like, what do you want me to say we'd lose? There's a competitor in all these guys that's going to say, yeah, we could handle them.
And you expect that.
And then you run down the list of stars, and it's tough to believe.
Yeah, Charles, this is what he said. He said, I just started laughing. How old is Kobe Bryant? He's 34, and he's calling us old? At the time, we were only like 28, 29. Michael Jordan and me were the same age. We were both 29. Other than Kobe, LeBron, and Kevin Durant, I don't think anybody else in that team makes our team.
Yeah, I mean, if we have fantasy training camp, with all of the Team USA rosters over the years, that's a tough team to make. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about Hall of Famers. They had 11 Hall of Famers, and Christian Laettner, who at the time was considered by most people one of the 2 or 3 greatest college players ever. That's a tough squad to make. I will say this, though. If all things are equal and you put these guys at their peaks, then we have an argument. Then maybe we have an interesting game. But with the history we know of all these guys and the current players and what they've done in their careers, I don't know how there's any chance the current team could beat the Dream Team unless they just shot lights out and do what Kevin Durant and Andre Iguodala did last night against the Dominican. Yeah. They'd have to have the games of their lives, the games of the century.
Absolutely. I love what Larry Bird said. Yeah, they'd beat us. We're old now. I love that. But yeah, speaking of Kevin Durant, these guys, think about, too, what is missing right now from this 2012 team in terms of injuries. No Dwight Howard, no Chris Bosh, no Dwayne Wade, no Derrick Rose, and now no Blake Griffin with the injury now suffered, and now he's out. Here's one more look at it. During the scrimmage on Wednesday, here's Blake going down. We don't know if this was actually when the injury occurred, but as you can see this play a bit later, certainly he knew something was wrong. Yeah,
and after talking to some of his teammates, I think they all felt that first play we saw where John Wall's driving and accidentally steps on his foot, and then the knee hits the inside of Blake's knee. That had to be the play that everybody's assuming that did it. The scary thing for the Clippers, and I think for a lot of other people, is you've heard this grumbling from owners about they don't want their superstar players in this competition because these guys are, let's face it, these are $100 million sometimes investments, these players in their NBA contracts. So you get worried that, if they go in international competition and struggle, get hurt, or something catastrophic happens, the responsibility, the onus for that really is on their team, their NBA team. So this will probably drum up another round of that, chatter. I haven't seen Mark Cuban's Twitter feed lately, but I would imagine he'll have an opinion about it. And that's a concern as well coming out of the Blake Griffin injury.
Yeah, good thing for the Clippers. They do expect him to be fully recovered from surgery in time for training camp in October. So meanwhile, it is the young Anthony Davis taking his place. The rookie played just 1 year at Kentucky and led the Wildcats to a national championship, top overall pick by the New Orleans Hornets. And hey, let me tell you something. For a guy who, just happened to be in town to play in the Summer League for the Hornets, he looked really good last night.
Well, we waited a long time now. People were kind of wondering. We waited till the fourth quarter to see if he was actually going to take that warm-up off. And the cool part about it was seeing the way all of his teammates interacted with him, and then seeing the way that John Calipari interacted with him. Calipari said after the game, hey, had I known you could make threes, I'd have let you shoot a few more at Kentucky. But, Anthony Davis is a guy who you wondered, would he have the strength? Would he be physical enough to play international ball and be effective? I think he proved a little bit of that last night, but this is a much more physical game than people realize. I mean, you should see the way the defense is played and how how much you can put your hands on people. Things you can't do in the NBA, you can get away with defensively in international basketball. So it's going to be a much different transition for Anthony Davis there, I think, than it would be with him just coming into the league and playing for the Hornets.
Certainly this experience, you would think, helps him in terms of leading this Hornets franchise, and our buddy Monty Williams in New Orleans. They try to build some things down there. How about Durant and Iguodala in their first action? Newcomers to the USA men's team going for their first gold medal. They looked really good in this first test.
Yeah, nothing like bringing all-stars off the bench.
Right.
They got the 6th man of the year over there in James Harden, and he's the 9th or 10th man on this team. Kevin Durant, the 3-time scoring champ, is coming off your bench. And listen, the international three-point line, that's Candyland. If you're going to let Kevin Durant walk up to the three-point line in international basketball and shoot threes, you might as well pack it up and leave. And then Iguodala, so athletic and really an underrated shooter, a guy who's really improved dramatically over the past few years. Went to his first All-Star game this past season. Now he's on this Olympic team and will have a huge role. He will be one of those guys who's asked to play some utility on defense and then come in and give him some scoring and transition baskets like he did last night.
I think another guy brings so much energy off the bench. They just come in waves, this team, and a lot of young, great talent for Team USA headed to London. By the way, here's what's on tap for their upcoming schedule as they gear up toward the Summer Games in London. Brazil, their next test. That's coming up Monday in Washington, D.C. And then Great Britain as they head overseas. And then Argentina and Spain, a couple of really tough tests, but they're going to kind of see what they're made of with those two exhibitions.
No question. And they're going to face some teams with bigger front lines. We're going to see exactly how they fare when LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony are having to play extended minutes at the 4 against Marc Gasol, Nene, Thiago Splitter, the Gasol brothers. All of these things are going to become a factor. We'll get a chance to see how they adjust to it, how they play through those things before they even get to London and take on the Olympic competition.
USA basketball, always fun to watch this time of year. Well, stay with us more on Game Time. Hey, it's the Vegas Summer League that's tipping off for the first time. Young Bradley Beal, the young star out of Florida, showing his stuff as the Wizards take on the Hawks. That's next on Game Time.